Good afternoon, everybody. MG here, MGCovers, bringing you a brand new handicapping video. The title of this video is Improve Your Soccer Handicapping by Focusing on One Simple Concept. We'll get to that video in a second. As always, if you like this video, would greatly appreciate it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you will learn a lot about sports handicapping, sports betting. Have a ton of playlists on a variety of sports, soccer, baseball we're focusing on right now. A lot of playlists on how to build a stat model. So you get a lot of value simply subscribing to the channel. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm MGCovers, covers spelled with the Z. I give out a ton of content on Instagram daily, Twitter as well. That's covers spelled with a Z. All right, so we're going to dive into it. So what we're going to talk about today is how to improve your soccer handicapping, just focusing on one simple concept. I've had a love affair now for about 2.5 years with soccer. If you go back and look, there's a video I created on how to create your own lines for soccer. That was, I think, last March, so not quite 2.5 years, but close. And went through a lot of changes with the stat model, but one thing I've realized here in I've really focused a ton on soccer in the past month, studying it. I've ran a test handicapping this way and found a lot of success with it, and we'll get to that success here a little bit later. But the one simple concept is just focusing on home teams when you're handicapping soccer. And what I mean by focusing on home teams, simply playing just home teams in soccer. And we're going to talk about why that is. If you watched, I think I made a coaching video about this, but the draw line, there's 3 lines in soccer: the home team, away team, and a draw line. So statistically speaking, with 3 lines, there's only a 33% chance of one of those lines hitting. That's basic math. However, what actually happens, the draw line in soccer occurs less than 20% of the time. And I have tried to focus on draws unsuccessfully, and it's very simple why that doesn't work, because the draw line occurs less than 20%. You're trying to profit from an occurrence that occurs less than 20%. It's going to make it extremely difficult to profit. And what I found in my research, the home team wins over 50% of the time. So just playing home teams, you're going to have a huge statistical advantage. And I'm going to give you some data to back that up. So when you think about it in terms of numbers, the draw line has a 20% chance of hitting, the away line 30%, and then that remaining 50% falls onto the home team. So let's look at some real data. What you're looking at is a screenshot from, what I did was I looked at the 2019 to 2020 season for all the major leagues of soccer. And the reason I did that and not use last year was because of COVID. So these are stats where there are actually true fans in the stadium. And it's very simple. It's very difficult to win on the road in soccer. Just like in college basketball, a statistical property of college basketball, the home team wins 70% of the time. Not cover, they win 70% of the time. Athletes, those are very young athletes, and playing on the road can be very intimidating. So the way that we use that statistical property to our advantage, we would play a lot of home dogs on the money line when they're home, because we knew they had a 70% chance of winning. So let's look at some real numbers. So MLS, what I've done, this is their home table for the 2019-2020 season. The first table you're looking at, we'll just go through these individually. MLS, 213 wins at home. The away team won 103 times. That's a 67% home win percentage for MLS. Guys, that's huge. That's even way beyond 50%. Let's look at the English Premier League. Again, 2019 to 2020 season, 172 wins at home versus 116 on the road. That's a 59% chance. So I was probably being very liberal with the 50%. Let's look at Spain. Yeah, this one's huge. 174 home wins versus the away team winning 101 times for a 63% home team winning. Bundesliga, this was the only one that was close. 123 wins for the home team and just 115 for the away team for a 52% home win percentage. France, 134 home wins, away wins, 75, 64% home win percentage. And finally, Series A, 158 wins, 137 away wins for a 53% win percentage. So you can see it's very simple. So the data is there. And again, when you're dealing with statistical properties, in order to get that statistical property to work to your advantage, you have to just focus on that statistical property. And again, what I mean by that, it's very simple. So if you play away teams and home teams and mix those together, that home team probability is not going to work in your favor. I'm not saying you can't be successful playing away teams. I'm just saying the way that I'm going to focus on this is I'm just going to play home teams. And therefore, every single time that, even before I place the wager, knowing I'm going to play a home team gives me a huge statistical advantage in my favor. Now, I'm going to pull up screenshots from the last plays, the last 3 plays we've had. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the screen. I apologize for that, but I'll read these out to you. We had, and this is basically starting back wagering on soccer. We ran a test handicapping this way, and there's some other parts to it as well, but we were 16 and 16, up 4.71 units, so it's very successful. That was a test. These were our first live wagers. Went 3-0. First play 2 days ago, we played from the Belarus Premier League. I think that's pronounced Brest. We had them at minus 127. Then we played another match from the Uruguay Soccer League. I think that's pronounced National Montevideo. That's probably wrong. Had them at minus 142, I believe. And then yesterday, played a match from the Brazil Series C. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. That was a really good game. We played it at minus 115. My line for that match was minus 162, so we had a huge, huge margin there. Again, as an example, all 3 of those matches were home teams there. Now, with regards to soccer, there's 2 other parts to the way that I'm handicapping soccer. I made a coaching video for clients. It explains everything A to Z. You get an entire model, which means you get to see every single stat I use, how I'm handicapping this, including what you already know. This is one part, and there's really other 2 parts to how I'm currently handicapping soccer. So if you want to have access to that, you can become a coaching client. You have a couple options, $49 a month. That gives you access to the entire model, all the videos. You get access to all my power rankings for all sports. And I release a coaching video about once a week. Sometimes it's more. Just released one this morning. So you get access to that. You can join for an entire year. You will save about $100 on the coaching program. That's $4.99. It gives you access not only to the model, but you also get access to all of my plays for all sports for 1 year. Now, I want to show you one thing, too. We're going to show you some client testimonials. I did this in the past. I want to sort of revisit this. This was a client testimonial I got a few days ago. Good afternoon. You forgot to have the net. He thought I didn't put the Bucks Nets game in. I gave him a line. His testimony, okay, appreciate it. Side note, I made a lot of money following your system. You're good at what you do. Can't wait till NFL and NCAA football come back around. It's a client I hadn't heard from in a really long time, and appreciate when I get testimonials like this. And if you don't know already, NFL football is probably my best sport, without a doubt, the best model that I have ever created for any sport. And then this testimonial here, this is a great testimonial too. And if you're a coaching client, you already know about this. This client created his own totals model based off the MLB model that I'm using. I was really afraid that sharing that idea would bring bad luck. Yesterday's split was awesome from this point of view. So that day he went, he created his own totals model, went 1-1 that day, but overall it was 14-6-1. And he continues to work on this model. And I want to make a point about both of these clients here, is that they are long-term clients. And I get so many daily emails, DMs from people asking just some crazy questions. And a majority of those people, if they're not clients, are very uneducated about how this business works. So my point in all this, to really learn sports betting, you need to invest in this business long term. That's why I created a coaching program, and that's why the best value is to join for an entire year for $4.99. Gives you access to everything. And I know you're saying, hey, MG, you're just saying that to get us to join for the year. And yeah, there is some, I do get monetary value in that, but the consumer gets a ton of value. And I want to explain a really good situation that is not applicable. It doesn't have anything to do with sports betting, but is applicable to learning and how the process works. Okay, I had a house. This was when I lived at the beach. This guy I got to be friends with this guy. He was a plumber. Here's the backstory. His wife was transferred to Myrtle Beach. Can't remember where they were originally from. She had a really good job. He did not have a college degree. Fairly smart guy. What he did was he ended up going to work for a plumbing company. He knew absolutely nothing about plumbing. What he did was, this is interesting, he went to work with a plumber for 6 months straight. And during that 6 months, he was able to see a, quote, professional doing, quote, plumbing work. Learned how to put in a water heater, learned how to fix a basic leak, learned how to install a faucet. So during the 6 months, he had zero training. But after 6 months, he literally knew how to do everything with regards to plumbing. Didn't take a class, didn't go, studying out of a textbook. He was learning the plumbing business from an actual professional. And again, it took him, 6 months, which is, not a short period of time, but enough time to learn the plumbing business before he went on his own. And the reason I bring that story up, a lot of parallels between that and sports betting. I see so many people. I'll give you a classic example. I had a coaching client. This was last week. He joins, I think that day, we're in the middle of NBA playoffs right now. NBA playoffs, very difficult to handicap. Why? Because both teams are good. The power rankings went 0-2, and that was basically his message he sent me. Hey, the NBA power rankings went 0-2 today. And it takes and I never get that type of message from long-term clients that are educated, for the simple reason they understand you can't just base an entire play on power rankings. That's the what we call the objective side. You have the subjective side to handicapping. So, sorry about this long rant, but my point is, if you really want to learn this business, you have to commit to it long term. Just like anything, if you want to go, I've been pricing cosmetology school for my youngest daughter. It's about $10,000 a year for cosmetology school. You can join $10,000, and 1 year later, you'll learn how to cut hair. Sports betting business, extremely economical when you price it compared to that. $500, you can learn this entire business. And when you do that, it's almost you're making a commitment to yourself. It takes a lot of pressure off yourself because at that point you're saying, okay, I've invested this money. I'm going to take the time to learn this business. And the most successful clients, this sounds obvious, but the most successful clients I have are the long-term clients. Just like Eric, you guys remember Eric that created a UFC model, had a lot of success. Another client just create another UFC model. He's having a lot of success with that model as well, long-term clients. So, if you really want to learn the business, that's my recommendation to doing that. So anyway, sorry for the long rant. Hopefully that helps. And if you got any questions about any of these video, whether you're a client or not, shoot me a email, mg@mgcovers.com. Don't forget to like this video. And if you got any questions, hey, leave them in the comment section. Peace.